guys, welcome to your certification. So today we are going to start with a new chapter on life process from CBSE class 10 and based on NCERT, and this is the lecture 1, which is nutrition. So let's start the chapter. So if you have ever downloaded a Telegram app from Play Store or iOS, then join our Telegram channel. All kinds of PDFs, workbooks, tests, notes will be given in this Telegram channel. The link of the Telegram channel is being given in the description box. So join the Telegram channel soon. Our country is simply facing a very tough situation. We all need to team up with the people around us and need to fight against this COVID-19. Each and everyone who are having the particular turn of having the vaccines, please be vaccinated and try to maintain all the preventive acts given by the World Health Organization as well as many Indian medical associations. So wash your hands regularly, cover a cough or sneeze. We should not touch any kind of our sense organs while we are not washed our hands. We need to keep distance and we need to stay at home to fight with these disease, with this virus. We need to stay at home, and if anybody in your community is sick, then call the medical association or to call the nearest hospital around you and get the help. So we need to stay home and we need to stay safe. So let's start with the chapters. So what are life process? Now, what are life processes? It's a very simple question. Now, life processes, the processes by which we are able to survive in this world. The kind of processes which are continuing inside our body, even we are asleep, even we are not asleep. So those processes are helping us to be alive, to be fit, and to do the regular work we are doing that. So let's read the definition. The existence of life on the planet Earth is mainly based on certain functions and processes. There are certain basic vital processes which are essential for organisms to stay healthy and to maintain the proper functioning of the body's organ systems. Now there are certain basic vital processes, some important basic vital processes by which we need to and we are staying healthy and maintaining the proper functioning of our body's organ systems. Now they are necessary for survival. These systems, these processes are necessary for our survival, and these basic essential activities performed by an organism are called life process. So all these basic functions of organ systems in an organism are called as life processes. So this is some examples like respiration, excretion, reproduction, digestion, nutrition. So these all are the basic life processes. And here you can see the image of respiration as well as excretion. So let's move to the next slide. Hope you've understood water. So let's move to the next part. So types of life process like nutrition, transportation, metabolism, respiration, reproduction, and excretion. So these 6 life processes are helping us to be able to survive on this earth. If these 6 life processes are not continued inside our body, we may not be able to survive or not be able to do what we were doing now. So let's move to the next slide. So what is nutrition? So nutrition is a kind of, means not the substances, a group of substances which is consisting of energy biomolecules, which is consisting of various kinds of compounds which are helping us to have energy to do work, and which is, and these nutrition is helping us to do, we are producing energy in our body to do work. So nutrients are the substances which provide energy and biomolecules necessary for carrying out the various body functions. So this is the kind of work we are able to do. So the reason of doing is because of nutrients in our food that we are eating every day. So all living organisms need nutrients for proper functioning and growth. So all living organisms need nutrients for proper functioning. So living organisms need nutrients for proper functioning. If the living organisms are having deficiency of nutrients in their body, the body is demanding, but the food is unable to give that kind of nutrients, that will may cause damage in functioning and damage in growth. And that's why, to have proper functioning and proper growth, all kinds of nutrients are very much needed in living organisms. But they show divergence in how they fulfill this demand. Some animals feed on simple inorganic compounds to meet their nutrient requirements, while others utilize complex compounds. Now, some animals are there which used to feed on simple or inorganic compounds to meet their nutrient requirement, but in other cases, they utilize complex compounds, complex food. They used to bubble inside the complex food, and the mode of nutrition varies from one species to another. The kinds of nutrients taken by plants is simply different with animals. The kind of nutrition taken by fungus is simply different with human beings. The kind of nutrition taken by insects like mosquitoes, they are simply different with the kind of nutrition taken by elephants. So this is the mode of nutrition that is from one species to another. So hope you have understood what is nutrition, and let's go to the next slide. So how do living things get their food? Now nutrition is present inside the food. Now the living things need to get their food. All living things cannot prepare their own food. We know that plants can prepare their own food, but then the organisms who are heterotrophic in nature, they cannot prepare their own food. They need to find for their food. So let's read what it defines. So autotrophic organisms make their own food by a process called photosynthesis. And green plants, for example, manufacture sugar and starch from carbon dioxide and water using energy of sunlight to drive the necessary chemical reactions. Heterotrophic organisms obtain their food from the bodies of other organisms. Now, what autotrophic organisms used to do? They used to make their own food by the process of photosynthesis. And green plants, for example, manufacture sugar and starch from carbon dioxide and water using the energy of sunlight to drive the necessary chemical reactions. The green plants, for example, manufacture sugar and starch and from carbon dioxide and water by the process of photosynthesis to drive necessary chemical reactions inside their body. And heterotrophic organisms obtain their food from the bodies of other organisms. Now, other organisms means that they obtain their energy from inside, that they obtain their food from plants, either they obtain their food from the flesh of other animals, either they obtain their food from dead or decayed organisms, or either they obtain their food from the host or kind of other organisms. So, hope you have understood how living things get their food. So, let's move to the next slide. So, this is what is autotrophic nutrition. What kind of nutrition is being continued by plants to stay alive? Now, the term autotrophic is formed by combination of two terms. That is, one is auto, meaning self, and trophic, which is meaning as nutrition. So, the total meaning of autotrophic is self-nutrition. Now, self-nutrition. So, from the word only itself, we can understand that the organisms which would be under the division of autotrophic, then they would be able to make their own food, like plants, like many some of the microorganisms. Now, the autotrophic organisms contain a green colored pigment which we call as chlorophyll and which helps in trapping the energy from the sun. Now, without the presence of chlorophyll, trapping energy from sun will be not be possible. Now, in the presence of chlorophyll, the plants can easily trap the solar energy or the sunlight. Now, all green plants uses an autotrophic mode of nutrition. Now, all green plants uses an autotrophic mode of nutrition, and they prepare their own food by utilizing solar energy, water and carbon dioxide by the process of photosynthesis, and this results in the formation of glucose inside the plant's body. Plants like blue-green algae, bacteria such as cyanobacteria are considered to be the examples of autotrophs. So examples other than plants, there are blue-green algae, which is a kind of algae, and then bacteria such as cyanobacteria. These are autotrophic in nutrition. So, hope you have understood what is autotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic nutrition is a concept that you have been learning from the earlier classes. So, let's move to the next slide. So, this is the basic equation followed by autotrophic nutrition. Now, autotrophic nutrition, like plants, green plants, cyanobacteria, they are taking carbon dioxide from the air, they are taking water, and they are being processed by photosynthesis in the presence of chlorophyll, trapping the solar energy, and they are producing glucose called C6H12O6 plus oxygen. Now, if we read the chemical equation, that is 6CO2, that is carbon dioxide, plus 6H2O, that is water, in the presence of chlorophyll by the process of photosynthesis, that taking solar energy, and then C6H12O6 plus glucose and plus 6O2, that is oxygen. So, hope you've understood the equation, the basic equation of autotrophic nutrition. So, let's move to the next slide. So, what is photosynthesis? This concept you have been learning from class 5, I hope. You have been learning about this photosynthesis, but then we need to recapitulate it. So, photosynthesis is a kind of process in which plants can make their own food in the presence of carbon dioxide, in presence of water, and in presence of sunlight, like having a green pigment called chlorophyll, which is helping to trap the solar energy. Photosynthesis is an autotrophic mode of nutrition by plants and some bacteria. Photosynthesis is a physical chemical process by which plants can convert light energy into chemical energy and form of carbohydrate, form simple inorganic substances like atmospheric carbon dioxide and water. Leaves are considered to be the sites of photosynthesis, hence they are called as a food factories. The leaves possess the small pores called as stomata on both their surfaces. Stomata are the structures which help in the exchange of gases, and opening and closing of stomata are brought about by the blood cells present in it. So, hope you have been able to understand what these lines are telling you, that these are very much old concepts that we are just recapitulating. So, I don't think I need to explain you line by line in detail. So, I'm just making you understand. I'm reading out the lines mentioned in the slide. So, leaves are rich in plastids, and green colored plastids are chloroplasts rich in chlorophyll pigments, who is responsible for trapping the energy from sunlight. But the last point is telling that leaves are rich in plastids. They are rich of plastids, and then the green colored plastids are chlorophyll. So, because of chloroplasts, they are having the plastids are basically the chloroplast, and they are rich in chlorophyll pigment. So, chlorophyll is very much responsible for trapping the energy from sunlight. So, we have understood what is photosynthesis and the workings present inside the photosynthesis. So, let's move to the next slide. So, what is heterotrophic nutrition? Now, what is heterotrophic nutrition? So, all animals, those animals which cannot prepare their own food or unable to prepare their own food, they used to depend on other organisms for their food or other plants for their food. So, that is known as the heterotrophic nutrition. Now, all animals and non-photosynthetic plants are classified as the heterotrophs since they are unable to prepare food. So these organisms resort to other various forms of nutrition. Hence, from an ecological perspective, heterotrophs are always secondary or tertiary consumers in the food chain. Now, the first consumer means the first production of food made by green plants. Now, as the cycle or as the food chain is going on, then the secondary or the tertiary is the consumers, but the primary producer is green plants, which is autotrophic, and then secondary and tertiary consumers are heterotrophic in nature. Humans and other vertebrates rely on converting organic solid or liquid food into energy. Other organisms such as fungi rely on converting dead organic matter into nutrients. In essence, heterotrophs break down complex food into its readily usable constituents. So, humans and other vertebrates just only rely on converting organic, solid, or liquid food into energy. Organisms such as fungi, they rely only on the converting dead organic matter. They obtain energy or nutrients from the dead organic matter, and then this helps them to when heterotrophs are very much capable to break down the complex food into readily usable constituents. So hope you have understood what are heterotrophic, what is heterotrophic nutrition, and then these are the examples that are mushrooms. This is the future plant, and then this organism, I think it is squirrel. So let's move to the next slide. So, types of heterotrophic nutrition. First one is HOLOZOIC nutrition, second one is SAPROPHYTIC nutrition, third one is parasitic nutrition. Total 3 categories we will discuss in detail in the following slides. So, let's start with HOLOZOIC nutrition. So, types of heterotrophic nutrition, HOLOZOIC nutrition. So, HOLOZOIC nutrition can be defined as a method of nutrition which involves the ingestion of some complex organic substances that may be in the solid or the liquid state. Now, this is the ingestion of organic substances that may be solid in nature, that may be liquid in nature as well. So, steps which are involved in extracting nutrition made by holozoic animals like ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, egestion. So these all processes are being continued inside a holozoic nutrition continued animal, and these processes are helping them to extract the nutrition present in the food. So hope you have understood what are holozoic nutrition and what are the processes involved in holozoic nutrition. So let's go to the next slide. So if we take an example of holozoic nutrition, which is amoeba. So in amoeba, what kind of process of nutrition is taking place? Now in amoeba, we are continuing with ingestion, they are having with digestion, they are having with absorption, and then assimilation and egestion. So let's start with the ingestion. Now ingestion, the process of food is taken through the mouth and broken down by teeth, and initial digestion takes place in mouth of saliva. So this basically occurs in human beings, and ingestion is the basic motto of the ingestion is like taking inside the food inside the mouth and then broken up by the teeth, and then initial digestion occurs. Now digestion, which the process in food which digested by using few enzymes and then used by the cells for producing energy. Now these food particles moves inside the body, and then they are being mixed with few enzymes, and these few enzymes helps in digesting the food. Absorption, the absorption occurs, the digested food gets to be absorbed as nutrients inside the different cells which is present in our body, and also to building up tissues in our body. Assimilation, the process in which digested food moves into cells. So, these assimilation, the food is being assimilated to different cells of the body. Digestion, this is a process in which undigested food is being removed through anus called excretion. Now, in case of amoeba, what is happening? The food particle is like here. They move through pseudopodia, and this is the black spot is known as a nucleus. Now, they move by the process of pseudopodia. Now, then food particle is being globule by the gobbled by the amoeba, and this through their food vacuum, and then they used to take over the food inside the body, and then these food they used to extract the nutrients now, and then they used to assimilate to different parts of the body, and then they used to excrete the food undigested food by again, and this is the whole process. So hope you have understood. First, I make you understood about what are the criteria, what are the process in little sum of details, and then I have explained by an example on the holozoic nutrition by an organism called amoeba by his digesting food, by his taking over the food. So hope you have understood the total process. So let's move to the next slide. So this is what saprophytic nutrition. Now saprophytic nutrition is organisms which rely on decayed organisms. So those organisms, these saprophytic organisms used to grow, saprotrophs used to grow, and they used to extract the nutrients from those organisms. So let's read what it defines. Now, the mode of nutrition in which organisms feed on dead and decaying matter, example fungi. In saprotrophic mode of nutrition, the vital nutrients required for their body are collected from dead and decaying matter. Now, the other organisms which are saprophytic is rhizopus, yeast, and mushroom. So, we have seen in places where there is most moisture, hot and humid, in those places we can see mushrooms are growing. Mushrooms are mostly seen in soils and mostly in forests. And braid mold is we can see in our regular life as well. We can do it as an experiment as well. We take a piece of bread, and then we need to keep it under moisture in a place for a few days, for for a period of 5 days, 7 days. Then after 7 days, we will be able to see some black spots have been grown over those bread, and that is bread mold. And this is the total what is called as saprophytic nutrition. I have given the examples of saprophytic nutrition as well, and hope you have understood what are saprophytic nutritions, and you have seen the examples as well. So let's move to the next slide. So this is parasitic nutrition. Now, parasitic nutrition is an kind of these parasites are these organisms in which they used to extract the nutrition from plants, from the plants which from the host plant, or maybe an organism as well. But in this case, they do not benefit. This doesn't benefit the host plant or the host organism. These benefits only the parasitic organisms. Mostly, these parasitic nutrition helps the parasitic organisms to be alive by this kind of nutrition. We totally used to depend on the host plants. Now let's read the definition what it suggests. Parasitic nutrition is a type of nutrition in which the organisms live on or inside the body of their host and derive their food from them. The organism which obtains the food is called a parasite, and the organism from whose body is obtained is called a host. A parasite usually harms the host. So in most cases, parasite harms the host. Parasite mode of nutrition is seen in several fungi, bacteria, a few plants like Cuscuta, and animals like Plasmodium. So I have previously itself I have discussed about parasitic nutrition and explained. So hope you have understood the parasitic nutrition in detail. So let's move to the next slide. So how do organisms obtain their nutrition? So organisms need to obtain their nutrition, and that is nutrition is single cell organisms. In single cell organisms, food will be taken in by the entire surface. You should take it by their entire surface. But then, example, amoeba takes their food using temporary finger-like probe extensions or projections of the cell surface, which fuse over the food particle, forming the food vacuole. By they used to move by the process of pseudopodia, and they have cilia over the body. And now inside the food vacuole, complex substances are broken down into simpler substances, which then diffuse into cytoplasm. The remaining undigested material is being moved to the surface of the cell and thrown out. And the food is totally being digested. The undigested particles which are being left over, they used to excrete it to the surface of the cell. So, if you have understood how do organisms obtain their nutrition, till now we have been discussing with this itself. So, till now the concepts we have discussed are simply very much important, and we have taken the snapshots of the parts we have discussed. So, let's move to the next slide. Now, the most important part of the chapter, the nutrition in human beings. Till now we have been discussing about a part in all the organisms they have been continuing with, but the continuation of nutrition in human beings is very much unique and very much important and vital from the exam point of view. So let's start. So nutrition in human beings takes place through parts like mouth, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, anus. So these are the parts in which nutrition in human beings continues. Like first is mouth, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and anus. Now the process of nutrition takes place through an alimentary canal. This is the total alimentary canal, and which a long tube extending from the mouth to anus. So this is from the mouth and this is towards the anus. This is the total alimentary canal. Now complex foods should be converted to smaller ones by crushing the food with teeth. Now in our mouth we all know we have teeth, and that tooth helps us to break all the food which is being we are eating, and it is also getting mixed up with the enzyme called salivary amylase, or saliva secreted by salivary glands. There are also glands inside present in our mouth, and we are secreting an enzyme called salivary amylase. And when we are being crushing the food by our teeth, these food particles are being mixed with salivary amylase. Now, salivary amylase breaks down the starch, which is a complex molecule, into sugar. Now, salivary amylase breaks down the starch. Starch, it helps to break down, which is a complex molecule, into a sugar. They used to break down into sugar. Now, as the canal lining is soft, and so food is made wet to make the passage smooth. And so, as the panel, you can see that this alimentary canal is very much soft in nature, and so food is made wet so that the food can easily travel through the alimentary canal. Now, the alimentary canal has different parts, and the food should be moved in a regulated manner along the digestive tube, so the food is processed properly in each part. Now, the canal has muscles which contract rhythmically to push the food forward, and this process of movement of food is called a peristaltic movement. Now, the food which is entered here, this food needs to be pushed to move forward. To have a movement in the food, there is a process called peristaltic movement occurs, and which occurs all along the gut. So, all over the gut, this process continues to happen. The food is taken to the stomach through the food pipe or esophagus. Now, this is a whole stomach, we know, and this stomach, and then this food is being pushed and to send inside the stomach. Now, the muscular wall of stomach mixes the food with more digestive juices. Now, this is a muscular stomach, and this helps to secreted by gastric glands present in the wall of the stomach. Now, in this wall, various kinds of glands are present which are being secreting gastric juices, and these are helping to digestive juices, and these are helping to for the nurturing of the food that is present, that has been went to the stomach. So this is the first part. So we have understood the very much important and very much vital portion of this chapter, that is nutrition in human beings. So let's go to the second part and discuss what happens after moving out from the stomach. These total diagram is very much important, and these processes are also important. So you start taking as much screenshots as you can and start remembering and start clearing your concepts as much as you can, because this is very much important from the exam point of view. So the next is the gastric gland releases hydrochloric acid. Now they are moved to the gastric glands and they are releasing solutions like hydrochloric acid, a protein digesting enzyme called as pepsin, and the stomach is having mucus, that for which this mucus is present because hydrochloric acid is a very harmful solution, for which the mucus, the surface or the inner lining up doesn't get damaged. That's why mucus is present inside the stomach, so that the inner line of the stomach doesn't get damaged. Now enzyme pepsin acts on the food and hydrochloric acid facilitates the action of pepsin. Now enzyme pepsin acts as on the food and the hydrochloric acid facilitates the action of pepsin. Mucus protects the inner lining of the stomach from the action of acid under normal conditions. Now only we have discussed from the stomach acidic food enters from the small intestine and the longest part of the alimentary canal, and this is regulated by sphincter muscle. Now this food needs to enter into the small intestine, so this is being continued and regulated by sphincter muscle. Now the complete digestion of carbohydrates, protein and fats takes place in the small intestine. Now the carbohydrate, the protein and the fats need to be getting digested, so they are being digested in the small intestine by the secretions of liver and pancreas. The liver and the pancreas secretes juices which helps the carbohydrates, proteins and fats to get digested up. Now bile secreted by the liver makes the acidic food alkaline and acts on the large globules of fat into the smaller globules so that the enzymes can act on easily. Now bile is being secreted by liver to make the acidic food alkaline, so that so that the large globules of fat so that it can make the large globules of fats are in the large globule state and they can be converted to smaller globules so that the enzyme can act easier. Because large globules in fats, it would be difficult for the different kinds of enzymes to work over it. So the bile helps in this case by converting into smaller globules, and so the enzymes can act very much easier. Now the process of breakdown of the large fats globules into small globules, which increases the efficiency of pancreatic enzymes, is called the emulsification of fats. Now emulsification of fats also occurs, that this breakdown of the large fat globules into small fat globules, with this process, overall process that we have discussed, the breaking down of the large fat globules into small fat globules, and for the efficiency of the enzymes to work over it, pancreatic enzymes to easily to work over it. So this is known as the emulsification of fats. Hope you understand the second part of the digestion in human beings as well. This is very much important part, and hope you have been taking the screenshot of the first part as well. Take the screenshot of the second part. That would help. This would help very much you from in the exam point of view. So let's move to the next slide. So this is the third part and the last part. So what is happening here? So in this part we can see the pancreas secrete pancreatic juice which contains enzyme trypsin to break for digesting proteins, leakage for digesting emulsified fats. Now these which contains enzyme like trypsin, they are breaking down the digesting proteins, leakage for digesting emulsified fats. Now these solutions, we need to use these enzymes, we need to take remember about these and the walls of the small intestine contain glands secreting intestinal juice which converts finally complex carbohydrates like glucose, proteins to amino acids and fats into fatty acids called glycerol, and then the inner wall of the small intestine has finger-like projections called the villi, which are richly supplied with the blood vessels and take these absorbed food into the cells of the body. Now these are being absorbed by the different cells of our body. The unabsorbed food, the undigested food which is being sent to the large intestine, where more villi absorb the water. From this undigested material, the rest of the material is being excreted from the body by anus, and the excretion of the waste materials by anus is regulated by anal sphincters. So this is the fourth part and the last part of this vital digestion in human beings. Hope you have understood the total process very carefully, and if you try to understand this, then please read the Ncert again to crystal clear about this concept, because each and every part of this digestion is very much important as for the exam point of view. So hope you have understood, and let's go to the next slide. So this is dental caries. So nowadays, we mostly hear from our grandparents that they have problems. Not only earlier we used to hear them from our grandparents, but today we used to hear them from people who are having an age of 50 or 45. They are also having the same problem. Even children who are being having an age of 10, who are being having an age of 15, these people, these children are also having a problem in dental caries. Now, I hope what happens to these people? What problem occurs in their dental or the teeth? What happens? Now, the problem that basically happens in these people are, or the children are, they regularly doesn't take care of their teeth. Now, regularly taking care of the teeth, I don't mean that you need to regular brush. Regular brushing is a very important criteria, but then after that also you need to take care of your teeth. So, these people are having a problem in their teeth. So, how it is going to cure when the bacteria start hardening over our teeth? The enamel is the most toughest and the most strongest part in our body. Now, the food which is getting stuck inside our teeth, this food for a period of time, if we do not take care of this part, this time, this for stocking of our food, then this food is stuck for for a period of time, and after a period of time, the bacteria starts to arrive. Now, our total body is very much acidic, but then the pH of our mouth is getting increased. Then what happens is like the bacteria starts to attack, and they used to first attack over the enamel, because this is the most best time for the bacteria to attack over the enamel, because due to high pH the enamel starts getting, and they are getting damaged slowly by slowly. For this is a very much good opportunity for the bacteria to attack over the teeth, and for which they used to attack the teeth, they used to destroy the enamel, and they used to make our teeth having black spots over it, which means that our teeth has been attacked truly by the bacteria, by microorganisms, other various microorganisms, and which is causing dental caries. Now, sometimes over high dental caries, we may need to pluck out all the teeth present in our mouth, and we need to make another set of teeth, which is the man-made teeth, which is not very much better for our need in our everyday life. Man-made things are not as suitable, as better than natural made. So we need to take care of our teeth, and we need to avoid and we need to prevent these bacteria to move inside our teeth. So let's read what it defines. So tooth decay is a damage to a teeth that can happen when decay causing bacteria in your mouth that takes acid that attack the tooth's surface or enamel. This can lead to a small hole in the tooth called cavity. This tooth decay is not treated, it can cause pain, infection and even tooth loss. So I've said previously only, so this all the effects that has been caused by the bacteria. So people of all ages can get tooth decay once they have teeth, from childhood through the senior years. Young children are at risk of early childhood years, sometimes called baby bottle, called the decay, which is severe tooth decay in baby teeth, and because of many other adults, older adults experience resetting gums, which allows the decay causing bacteria in the mouth to come in contact with the tooth's root, and they can get decay on exposed root surfaces of their teeth. Now, our teeth is simply being residing on the gums in our mouth, present in our mouth. Now, if the gums are getting damaged or getting decayed, now it is making a good opportunity for the bacteria to enter the root of our teeth. And if they are going or moving towards the root of our teeth, then they will simply cause damage to the teeth and it can cause to pluck out our teeth. And so this is the basic matter what dental caries tells. Now this is the image of a healthy tooth. This is the image where the dental caries is attacking slowly, and this is the totally damaged teeth. And if the dental caries reaches to the pulp of our teeth, then mostly our teeth, means the teeth of our teeth has started popping. So this is a total concept of dental caries. Hope you are able to understand about it. So thank you for watching our video, and this is very much conceptual video. Hope all your concepts are crystal clear after watching this video. If you have any kinds of doubt, if you have, mention it in the comment section below. We take a lot of efforts to make such conceptual videos for you people. Please like the video, subscribe the channel, and press the bell icon to get regular updates, and try to share the video with those people who are in wishing to study, who are hoping to study, but due to their circumstances they are unable to. This will not benefit me, this will not benefit you, this will benefit those who are in need of study. Try to share this video with those. We need to make coaching free in India, because in COVID-19 situation all kinds of offline classes are simply stopped. So we need to transport these videos to those people by making each and every one in this India to be educated. So here the video ends. Thank you for watching. Continue to practice with the chapter and stay tuned and show for the next video. So for the timing,